isolated incident. Is that called spalling when the concrete rots within when the metal rots inside the concrete?
Yeah, that's actually a condition of spalling. Spalling occurs when water enters the concrete and hits the reinforcing steel called rebar, and then the rebar expands. And when the rebar expands, it cracks the concrete around it. So that's basically the definition of spalling. And spalling is due to environmental conditions such as humidity, rain, sun, salt water, salt air. In Hawaii, there's a lot of salt in the air, and because this hotel is located right on the beach, it gets, because of the trade winds, it gets hit with a lot of salt air landing on everything, the concrete walls, the lanai floor, and that kind of thing, metal railing.
How long do you think that this was resting?
It didn't happen overnight. I would say between 5 to 8 years, something like that.
So I've lived in a condo where we, had a lot of spalling work, and it took like 2 years. It takes forever, it seems, to do it, and it's really noisy. Um, but what I don't know is, are the hotel engineers required to run around and check for these kinds of issues? Would they have known? Do you think they were remiss in checking?
Well, it should be a protocol for each building, whether it's a hotel or condo, apartment, office building, and such, to have some kind of preventive maintenance schedule and inspection. Going around looking at these conditions like peeling paint, um, rust stains around metal railings and metal objects and so forth. And then at certain time points, say maybe 5, 10 years, they should hire an independent structural engineering company to do investigation. It's not, from what I saw, looking at other balconies in a hotel, it wasn't that obvious. Although I did see some bubbling paint on the underside of some of the lanais, which would be indicative of possibly water going through the tile or the surface of the lanai slab and then penetrating down into the concrete. So that's another indication. But I know that I work with a lot of condo buildings, and I know a lot of them do not have inspections done. So it should be best practice to have inspections done, even by the in-house personnel, but hire third-party inspectors and consultants to help with that. I know money's an issue, and that's probably why they don't do it, but that could save in the long run. Sometimes there's what needs to be done is destructive testing, and that's like cutting pieces of concrete out, looking at the attachment of the railing, base, the anchor points, and all that for rust and corrosion. Sometimes that needs to be done. It's costly and expensive because on a high-rise building, you have to rig the building, like go on the roof and hang their scaffolding system and drop down on the building. So of course, to set that up, costs thousands of dollars and then your manpower. And so for the fix on this condition, it's going to require a lot of inspections, destructive testing, engineering work, some initial design work, and then the fix. The fix is going to be millions of dollars. It's not going to be something cheap.
So it's going to be millions of dollars, and on top of that, they are going to be out millions of dollars because they're going to have to put blocks of rooms out of order for that time being, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. So for an ongoing business such as a hotel, to block off a room and not rent it, that's loss of income. So it's either blocking off rooms or going into each room and building a wooden barricade that's solid, a couple feet away from the railing, and then so no one can go out to the railing area. So that would be another option. the way the hotel is designed to block off every single hotel room, that's basically shutting the whole wing of the hotel down, the other side wing. So, of course, the hotel owners and managers don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the alternative would be somebody getting injured or killed, which really was just by the grace of God that it didn't happen yesterday.
Yeah,
So,
thank goodness.
yeah. I mean, is it every room you think that is really risky or dangerous right now, or just the ocean facing rooms?
Um, there's I didn't see any railing on this type of railing on the uh Malka side, Kalakaua Avenue facing side. So of course, when you're designing a hotel, you want the view of the ocean. So all the railing is basically at the ocean side, Makai side. And the design is you have staggered railing design. So you have one floor, which is metal railing only, and then you have the next floor, which is concrete wall attached to the lanai slab, and then a little metal railing on the top of the wall. Um, so it's alternating design.
Mhm.
Now, the room that had the lanai railing wall that collapsed was a hotel room that had a concrete wall for railing. Um, that should be safer actually than metal railing, but in this case, it didn't seem so. So I'm questioning the structural integrity of the lanais that have all metal railing also. That could be another situation. So uh, the owner of the hotel should check it.
When you say it's millions of dollars, are we talking tens of millions of dollars or closer to hundreds of millions? I mean, sorry, I know that sounds dumb, but I just don't know how much these things cost.
Yeah, well, for instance, to replace one lanai railing, if it's metal, could be like 20 to 30,000 dollars. If they're going to rebuild and make it all concrete, that's going to be a lot more. But it depends on the structure engineer how they're going to design. I'm pretty sure that we're looking at a redesign of the attachment, at least of the uh, floors that have concrete walls for their lanai railing.
Have you ever seen anything like this in a hotel room? And I know there's been railing collapses here in town even, but where does this rate on your barometer?
I would say that this is a pretty high concern, Diane, because this whole it wasn't only a portion of the wall that fell, it was the entire section uh, of that lanai, and which is caused a concern. If there was like one piece that fell off, or maybe a 2 foot by 1 foot little piece of concrete that fell off, it's not as concerning, although the problem could be the same. To have an entire wall fall down, that's problematic. The other thing is that um, the report that I got was that there was nobody leaning against the railing wall or anything like that. It basically collapsed on its own, which is a problem because if you apply force to the railing, of course, you got more issues to cause it really to collapse, right? So it's not solid, it's not structurally sound, and I'm pretty sure that other railing in that building have the similar conditions.
Um, what did you say you think caused this one?
What was that?
What do you think the problem is? Are you able to even guess why this fell?
Yeah, there's looks like you have precast planks, which are like sections of the wall that's used for railing, and they're attached by these metal anchor bolts that connect that wall to the lanai slab. And I saw a lot of corrosion areas and all that, so I'm pretty sure that the attachment of the metal anchors corroded and caused the wall to fall down.
Okay. So could you give some advice to anybody watching who's going to be either a hotel guest or who lives in some place where they have railings? If they notice corrosion, maybe they should be concerned. Is there any other thing?
Well, what I do is like I travel a lot all over the world, and I've seen hotels all over in different parts of the world where I noticed that I already see conditions of spalling and corroded railing and all that. But I'm trained to look at these things. An average hotel guest, you're on vacation, you're not going to be inspecting the hotel room and going out on the lanai and checking the railing out. So the advice that I would give would be uh, either stay away from the railing or maybe try to look to see if it's loose, but don't try to put too much force on it. Um, yeah, but just be aware of these conditions. Now, most of the time when I'm looking at high-rise buildings or buildings of that nature, that type, I don't readily see problems. Like if in this hotel, if the railing didn't collapse and I went on the beach to look, I would say that it looked okay because you can't see. It's all inside where it's not visible. That's why I always recommend destructive testing, where we cut pieces of concrete out, maybe take a railing out or two, and take a look at it and really investigate it and see how much corrosion. There shouldn't be any corrosion at all. And when you have metal that's supporting a concrete wall that is used as a lanai railing, that's not really a good condition.
Yeah, I can see a lot of homeowners. I mean, there's a lot of people who have balconies in their home as well. So I think a bunch of people are probably freaked out now.
Well, there's actually two main types of, let's say it's a metal railing. You got two main types to anchor the railing to the slab. You have a surface mounted rail where it's just mounted on the top of the lanai slab. And then you have embedded railing where the bottom of the post is actually embedded in the concrete. So there's a hole there and they put the post there and they pour concrete around it. So those are the two methods, but it really doesn't matter the method. It matters if you use the right materials and you don't have that much corrosion, and you got to keep inspecting it because every building component doesn't last forever. Metal doesn't last forever. Concrete doesn't last forever. Even if you use stainless steel, it's still gonna corrode and rust, but it's actually a better material. A lot of buildings are either made with solid metal, iron that rust. In the 60s, 70s, buildings were made with those solid railing. Those aren't lasting as long. And then we have the aluminum railing today that's being used that are basically hollow. And if the main thing is maintenance, I mean, it could last if you maintain it properly and wipe it down and clean it and all of it. Not too many people do that, right? And then even if they wipe the railing down, that's only the visible portion of it. That's not the portion that's embedded in the concrete where we can't see. And sometimes you got the metal post that's touching the rebar that's in the concrete, and now you have galvanic corrosion, and both the rebar and the bottom of the metal post is corroding too.
Yeah, my takeaway is just I'm not going to lean on the rail. I have to ask, why were you out there? Were you just looking as a looky-loo, or do you expect to be called as like expert testimony in some kind of lawsuit?
I basically went out primarily for uh, curiosity first. And then I talked to several tourists and the lifeguards and all that just to get a feel of what's going on. No, my intention wasn't to be an expert or anything. If needed, I could be, or I could be a consultant if the hotel calls up and he needs expertise or whatever. Um, you know, I'm I would make myself available, but I wasn't in it to try and get another job. The other thing is, I wanted to use my time there as part of education, so I can help, like you're helping get the news story. I also have a series of webinars that I give, and I'm planning on giving a webinar about railing safety, just to educate the general public. And in the construction and real estate industry, in the property management industry especially, because we got numerous condos that are, managed by association property managers and board members, just to educate and spread the word around. Because if we could save one person from getting injured or dying, I mean, then it was all worth it.
Oh, great. Tell the viewers watching on web when the webinar is, is it open for them to join?
Yeah, it's a free webinar series. It's called Ask Building Expert .now.site. That's the domain name. And we give one webinar per month. And so far, this is the third year that we've been doing it. And the website has webinars that we've already given. We record every single one so they can watch it on demand. They don't need a Netflix account or anything like that. And then we have various publications. We have some free books and a lot of good information that we want to share. And when we give the webinars, it's actually attended by not only people in Hawaii or United States, but it's people from all over the world too.
Interesting. When is this webinar?
Um, I think it's next week, Tuesday. I'm not sure the exact date.
Oh, February 6th.
9 o'clock. Yeah.
February 6th, Tuesday.
I think the topic is
Oh, so
I forget now.
Oh, I see. You're having it, but it's not going to be necessarily about this railing. It'll just be
No, it's not a railing. I haven't made the railing one yet because it just
uh-huh.
happened. So we already have pre-made topics already,
Okay.
and on our schedule we have one per month, and it's all scheduled out, so they could look at what topic they're interested in and sign up for it. It's on Zoom, and we also broadcast it live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube.
Okay. All right, viewers watching us on web, you'll just have to go to Lance's website and see when this particular one is coming up. If not, sounds like Lance has a bunch of other interesting construction-y type seminars as well, right?
Right. A lot of different topics, so it'll be good.
All right, that's very interesting, Lance. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, Lance Luke, building inspector expert.
That's one. I mean, my company is Construction Management Inspection. I'm known as the national building expert.
Okay.
I was also involved in, that Florida building collapse. I was interviewed on the news on that one. Moana railing accident, which, by the way, I was the expert witness on the litigation case. So I don't look at these things as a litigation expert witness stuff. I just look at it, try to help people out.
Because it's in your field and it's interesting. Okay. Well, I appreciate you talking to us and sharing some of your expertise.
Yeah, anytime.